Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I hope you remember the last class on polynomials. So today we will do the other part of it and finish the chapter polynomials. So before we begin, I want all of you to subscribe and like the channel and also refer to your friends and relatives so that they can also solidify their concepts. So let's begin with our today's class. Do you remember what we did in our last class in the last video? So in our last video, we have started with polynomials where we have learned that what are the zeros of a polynomial and how do you represent zeros on a graph and how do you read it. So I hope you remember that. If you don't, then you go back again to that video, polynomials part 1, and refer it. Today, we will see that how the zeros and coefficients are related to each other. So let's begin our today's journey. So there is a relationship. Okay. So what is that? So before we begin, we are going to prove it with the help of one polynomial. Can you see that I have taken one quadratic polynomial already, 2x squared minus 8x plus 6. Do you agree that this is a quadratic polynomial? Yes, it is. Why it is a quadratic polynomial? Because here the degree of the variable x is 2. So it's a quadratic polynomial. Yeah. So if you look at this, second, let me just do the little orientation. Yes. So if you look at this one, 2x squared minus 8x plus 6, I hope you remember in class 8 and 9, you have factorized the such kind of polynomials using middle term splitting. Do you remember that? So if I say middle term here, middle term is 8x minus 8x. So how we do that? So first of all, for middle term splitting, you need to know the coefficient of x squared, which is 2, and 6 constant term. You will multiply both. 2 and 6, what did you get? 12. So that means you need two numbers in such a way that its sum will give you minus 8 and its product gives you 12. So if I say minus 6 and minus 2, that gives you minus 8. And minus 6 into minus 2, that gives me 12. That means this is a perfect option for us. Yeah. So I will choose these numbers to factorize it. So here I will take 2x squared and I have to middle term this minus 8x. This is my middle term. So I will write minus 6x minus 2x plus 6. I hope you remember this. Now you need to regroup this. First of all, take out common from the first two and the next two. So what is common from the first two terms? It is 2, 2 and 6. Check the numbers, coefficients first, 2 and 6. So HCF is 2 and between x squared and x, it is x. Now, what will come inside the bracket? So you will get x minus 3. I hope this is clear. Now next, from the next two term, 2 and 6. Between these two numbers, what is common? 2. And I will take minus 2 here. So what you will get inside? X minus 3. Can you see that? In both the brackets, you got x minus 3 as 1. And the other one, you got 2x minus 2. So that means I can further factorize which bracket? This 2x minus 2. 2 is common. And then what I will get inside? X minus 1 in one bracket, and in the other bracket, I will get x minus 3. So have you seen that this is called middle term splitting? Okay. And these are the factors which you got of this quadratic polynomial. Now further, how do we get the zeros of it? So I will write here, okay, I am using this part now. So here, the value of px. What is that px is? This is your polynomial px, this quadratic polynomial. Okay, I will say the value of px is 0. Now, how you will get 0? When x minus 1 is equal to 0. That means x is equal to 1. So when you put in place of x as 1, you will get the value of this polynomial as 0. So x is equal to 1 is 1, 0. Or you can say the another factor what you got is x minus 3, or x minus 3 is equal to 0. That is x is equal to 3. That means this is another. So we got two zeros. So our zeros are 1 and 3. So when you put the values of this, remember the zeros I told you that when you substitute the value for x as 1, you will get 0. And 3, then also you get 0. So these 1 and 3 are these zeros. Now, you have to observe. You got the zeros. Now this is the time you need to observe something. Okay, so I am going to write here something over here. Observe it. Okay, I'm writing observe. Now, what you have to observe? I am writing here two things. One, sum of zeros. Then I'm writing product of zeros. Now, what do I mean by that? So sum of zeros. What are your zeros? 1 and 3. So 1 plus 3 is equal to 4. And product of zeros, 1 into 3 is equal to 3. I have written this. Okay. Now, I am going to prove which they have given us as sum of zeros. Actually, there is a formula which I'm going to show you here. Some of the zeros, they say that it is minus coefficient of x upon coefficient of x square, which is actually when you take, a general polynomial. Suppose when I take a general polynomial, quadratic polynomial, ax square plus bx plus c. So in this one, if you see, this is a general quadratic polynomial, x square plus bx plus c. We say in that. So they have said that sum of the zeros is minus b upon a. We learn it like this, minus b upon a. Now, what do you mean by this minus b upon a? What is this b? It is coefficient of x. What is a? It is coefficient of x square. Again, remember, very, very important. So, sum of the zeros means is equal to, this is just like the formula you have to remember, minus b upon a. Now, from where this b has come? B is the coefficient of x. So minus b, okay? We always remember minus b upon a. Coefficient of x is x. And a is the coefficient of x squared. So instead of writing this full, this big coefficient spelling is little difficult. So instead of learning it, it is always minus coefficient of x upon coefficient of x squared. So we remember as minus b upon a. And the second one, product of zeros. That is c upon a, constant term upon coefficient of x square. Now we have to verify this. Now how? I'll take you to the previous slide and tell me what is sum of the zeros. What did you get sum of zeros? 4. Okay. You got sum of zeros as 4. I'm writing here. And product of zeros, you got 3. Now, how do you prove this? I am writing again this quadratic polynomial, 2x square minus 8x plus 6. Okay. So I'm writing here on it 2x square minus 8x plus 6. I hope this is clear. Now compare. What is a here? 2. What is b here? 8. Compare a with this above. Okay. X square is x square. X is x. So constant, if you see, I am also circling it so it's very easy for you. A is 2, B is minus 8, and C is 6. Now, minus B upon A. So minus, and your B is minus of 8. And what is coefficient of x square? 2. So what did you get? Minus minus cancel, you got 4. Isn't it? It is correct. Some of the zeros you got 4. The zeros, 1 plus 3. And product of zeros is constant term, which is your 6 here in this case. 6 upon 2, which is 3. See, you got the same thing. It is verified. Okay. So this is the verification. Sometimes they will ask you that we have given you one quadratic polynomial and you have to verify it also, the relationship between the zeros and the coefficient. Zeros and the coefficient of polynomial. So this is how you will be doing it. So just practice one case and it is very easy for you to practice another. But you have to understand that what is the relationship between the sum of zeros and product of zeros. The first thing is calculate by using middle term splitting or any other method you know. You can use identities too. Then afterwards, you calculate sum of zeros with the help of zeros you got and product of zeros. And then afterwards, you verify by minus coefficient of x upon coefficient of x square. I will advise, instead of remembering it, just understand a general quadratic polynomial minus b upon a and c upon a. But before that, you should have in your mind that b is my coefficient of x and a is coefficient of x square. Then it is very easy for you to again go forward for this. I hope this is clear. I hope this makes sense also that what we have done. Okay, we will do one more practice. But if you're in the live class, then you must have asked what is alpha and beta. So for us, our alpha and beta is actually the zeros. Like 1 and 3, we got zeros after calculation. So alpha and beta are one such zeros for general quadratic polynomial we have assumed, and alpha beta. So product of zero is alpha into beta and alpha plus beta. So that's how it will come. Okay. So now move on to the next one more. So if you look here, I have written find the zeros of this quadratic polynomial and also verify the relationship. So let's see one more time so that it is very easy for you all. So my polynomial px I got as x square plus, one second, x square plus 7x plus 10. Now what is my middle term in this? 7. So what should I get here to get that 7? So 2 plus 5 makes 7 and 2 into 5 also makes 10. Remember, for middle term splitting, you need two numbers in such a way that its sum should come as the 7 and multiply 10. This you have done in the last question as well. So x square plus 5x. So I'm splitting the 7x as 5x plus 2x and plus 10. So next step is you need to regroup your terms. So the first and the second. So from the first two, you got x plus 5. And from the next one, you got another x plus 5. So here you go. So your first x plus 5 and you got x plus 2. Again, you got two factors, right? X plus 5 and x plus 2. Yeah. So now after this, if I ask you what are the zeros of the polynomial, remember, we got that if px is equal to 0, we have calculated, yeah? If px is equal to 0, when it will be 0? When x minus x plus 5 is equal to 0. That means x is equal to minus 5. And second, x plus 2 or is equal to 0, x is equal to minus 2. That means I got two zeros right now, minus 5 and minus 2. Okay, so the sum of the zeros. So now here only we will try to calculate. We need to verify the relationship. Yeah, so sum of zeros. So tell me what is sum of zeros here? It is minus 5 and plus minus 2, which you got as minus 7. Can you verify with minus b upon a also? Remember I told you? So what is minus b? 7. Yeah. So you got 7 here. So if I verify, I got my b as 7. So here it is minus 7 upon a, it's 1 coefficient. If you see before x square, there's just 1. There's nothing. We always see in algebra as 1. So it is minus 7 upon 1, which is equal to minus 7. So remember, we have just found, and the second one is product of zeros. So product of zeros is equal to minus 5 into minus 2, which is 10. Yeah. So which is C upon A. Remember, constant term upon coefficient. What is constant term here? 10. 10 upon 1. It is justified and verified. Yeah. So that's my answer. So this way you have to do in your exam also, in any assessments. And practice one or two questions more yourself by seeing it, and you will be proficient afterwards. Yeah. So again, the same thing which I always say it, practice in maths. Okay, so there is no skipping in it. Let's see the another one. X squared minus 3. Now x squared minus 3. So if I have the polynomial right now of this form, px is equal to x squared minus 3. So how do you do that? By middle term splitting? No, there are no three terms. How you do that? By any algebraic identity? Yes. Now, which algebraic identity is there for you when you have only two terms? I think it is a square minus b square. And a square minus b square, what does it say? It says that it has to be a minus b and a plus b. I think very well, I'm going to use this. And it is very easy to identify. When you have only two terms like this in the form of squares, a square minus b square, then it is a minus b and a plus b. This is something you're doing it from grade 7, I remember, grade 7 and 8. So very easy. Now that means my a square is x square and my b square is root 3 square. So I am again writing x square minus root 3 square. So root 3 square becomes 3 only, right? So my first bracket says it is x minus 3 and second bracket says x plus 3 as per you simplified. Yeah. So something I forgot. It's not that easy, minus 3. It is root 3. Yeah. So x minus root 3, x plus root 3. Okay. So now for me to calculate the zeros of the polynomial, so I will write here x, this is equal to 0. So first x minus root 3 is equal to 0. That means you will get here x as root 3. The similar one you will get here minus root 3. Yeah. So you got two zeros like we always get. Now it's time to verify the coefficients. What are the sum of zeros now? Now my sum of zeros, it is, what is it? What are two zeros? Root 3 and minus root 3. What do you get? Same number, cancel. So you got 0. And product of zeros, what do you get? Product of zeros is root 3 into minus root 3. You got minus 3. You need to verify. Is it equal to minus b upon a? Now there is no coefficient of x, so it is 0. It's correct. It is minus b upon a. When you simplify, you get 0 only. And for c upon a, what is that c upon a? What is c constant here? Minus 3 upon 1, which is equal to minus 3. It is verified. Yeah. So something which is very easy now. If you get any quadratic polynomial, you should be able to factorize it properly by middle term splitting, by using identities that you have learned. But you need to factorize it. From factorization only, you will get some factors. For that, you will get the zeros. And then you have to verify sum of zeros or the product of zeros. Yeah. I think easy now. Now let's see the another set of questions. So you have seen you got a polynomial. What happened the other way around? You get some questions where you get the zeros and you have to frame a quadratic polynomial. Other way around is also possible and that is in your textbook also. So let's see the another set of questions. Now you have to make a quadratic polynomial, and the zeros are -3 and 2. Now, with such kind of questions, how do you frame it? Now here, your sum of zeros and the product of zeros play a very important part. So suppose I say my sum of zeros I need to calculate. Okay, so do you remember alpha and beta? I was just saying, so instead of writing, sum of zeros such long, I'm writing alpha and beta. Alpha is my 1 0 and sum of the zeros. Yeah, so alpha plus beta. So it is my sum of the zeros, alpha plus beta, as -3, and product of its zeros are 2, alpha and beta as 2. I hope these are, the sum of zeros, and this is the product of zeros. So these are like those. These are not exactly the zero, but they are given as the sum, and this is given as the product. So alpha plus beta is -3 and alpha beta is 2. Now, it means that alpha plus beta is minus coefficient of x, which is minus b upon a. And this one is a constant term upon a. So that means one thing is common, that if I say -3 upon 1 and 2 upon 1, this means that for sure a is equal to 1, I will take. Yeah. And b I will take as here -3. -3. No, +3, because minus b upon a. So it is 3 plus 3 only. And c I will take as 2. Now, if I have to frame ax square, my general polynomial, as in this form, px is equal to ax square plus bx plus c. Now, a is 1, so it is x square. B is, what is b? 3, x, and what is c? 2. So this is my answer, as easy as that. So that means if you know the relationship, you can easily find out. So this is given as, again, you check sum. Sum is -3, alpha plus beta, and product is 2. Now you write in this form, alpha plus beta, sum of zeros is minus b upon a. And this one, 2, alpha beta is 2, which is product of zeros, it is given 2. Now, b upon a minus b upon a minus 3 upon something. A must be 1 only. That is why you got -3. And alpha beta is equal to 2. And then when again you compare, you got a as 1. So it's very easy when you start comparing that what is a, b, c, and then you put the values in the general quadratic polynomial, you get the answer. I hope it's clear. It fits into this condition. So that's how. So you get only these two kind of questions in your exercise in NCERT. So practice, and it is very easy for you. So I hope that all of you have understood like how you're going to create one quadratic polynomial, or if a quadratic polynomial is given, how you will get the zeros and the relationship verification. So you have seen a quadratic, but what happened if you get a cubic one? There could be the cases, but understand the zeros. If you have a cubic polynomial, in that case, you will get 3 zeros. So quadratic, do you remember I told you for linear, you get only 1 0. For quadratic, you will get 2 zeros. For cubic, you will get 3 zeros. So in that case, if it is alpha and beta 2 zeros, the third you will say as gamma. Okay. So these are just simple names we have given. So one is alpha, second is beta, and gamma is our third 0. So you have to remember that alpha plus beta plus gamma, that is the sum of all the zeros. It is minus b upon a. What is b? Coefficient of x square. Okay. And what is a? It is coefficient of x cube. Then the product of the zeros, like this, alpha beta plus beta gamma plus gamma alpha, multiplying 2 at a time, you got c upon e. This c is coefficient of x. Then alpha beta gamma, all three together, it is minus d upon a. So it is constant term upon the coefficient of x cube. You have to remember it. And then only, and the process is the same. Then only you will understand that it's super easy. So remember it. 5 times you write, it will become your habit. So it's super easy. So practice quadratic first, and then you come to the cubic one. So I hope all of you have understood today's class. So practice, practice, and practice, which will make you, proficient and confident in it. Okay, so I wish all of you happy learning and keep practicing. And see you soon in my next video with the new chapter now. Polynomials is over. And by then, each one of you rise and shine. Okay, signing off, Monica.